All right, we are finally back with another episode of the Who You Got podcast. We're going OG style tonight, just me and Jimmy. Jimmy, we've turned the page. It is March, and the madness has begun, but it did not begin on the basketball court. It began on a par 4 hole yesterday in West Palm Beach. Shane Lowry steps to the tee, a 97% chance he wins the tournament with a 3-shot lead with 3 to play. He then proceeds to take an iron off the tee and misses target by probably half a football field. He missed the edge of the fairway by 20 yards and hit it 10 yards into the water. Double bogey, and then we go to 17. He hit a shot that I don't think most weekend golfers would hit and missed again by about 10 yards to the right into the drink. Double bogey. It was all over but the shouting at that point. He had a shot from the sand that he theoretically could have gotten to a playoff, but that had no shot of actually going in. So he had a chip for eagle out of the bunker, nowhere close. Loses the tournament by 2.
That poor prick.
That is about as bad of a beat as you will see if you had money on it. Luckily, for once in my life, I was in Vegas with you, and I couldn't bet in my DraftKings account. But of course, he was our pick in the one and done. So pour one out for Shane there. I will give him credit for this. He stood in front of the media, as awkward as it was, and answered questions, as dumb as they were. Because you know those questions. Well, what were you thinking on 17? He's thinking, I'm pretty goddamn pissed. I just doubled and hit it 40 yards offline. What am I going to do now over water? And, of course, he dunked another one. But I give him credit. He sat there and he answered the questions. Because if you remember, he was the guy last year who did say, everyone forgets, we don't get 15 minutes in a locker room to recover. We walk off 18 and you got a mic in our face.
Yeah, good for him for answering the questions. I was on the golf early. I switched it off. I didn't get to see the complete collapse, but it's not great. You got to feel bad for him.
Epic collapse. But we'll see what happens this week. I don't know how you can bet him. I'm assuming he's teeing it up at the Arnold Palmer. I don't think he flew back across the pond. Oh, maybe he did. Let's see. Or maybe he's just way down the board now because of what happened. Yes, he's just way down the board now because of what happened. 48-1 now to win this tournament. I bet you if he won yesterday, he would have been in that 25-1 range coming off a win. But my God, I mean, that was just something you don't see much. I don't even know what the live odds were because I wasn't paying attention. But Nico must have been 40-1 on 16, 30-1, something crazy.
I would think something along those lines, and I'm sure nobody had the. I don't want to say it's balls pull the trigger because why would you at that point?
I bet you someone said 3 with 3 to go, 2 holes over water. I'm in the middle of the bear trap. Well, I'll put $10. I'll put $15 on it. There are a few people who got home at 30-1 or 20-1, whatever DraftKings or FanDuel was offering. I'm sure there were.
Yeah, could be.
But good tournament this week. We go to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. And again, I say it every time. You'd be crazy, but maybe I'm the crazy one. I need to just start accepting it. He hasn't won in a couple tournaments now, but he's plus 345. Scotty, I mean, it's a pass for me again, but your thoughts? I mean, do you blame anyone for betting him at this point?
No, I don't. And he said it hasn't got home in a minute. Maybe this is his time. 345, really short odds to win a tournament, but I don't hate anybody for taking it.
Yeah, I don't either. This week, I really like Fitzpatrick. 21-1 at some places, as high as 25 if you shop around. You can get him 19-1 if you want to bet the without Scheffler, and then I like Ryan sharp as a fox, 100-1 without. 100-1 without Scheffler.
I'll go back to the Scotty thing. The only thing about the Scotty at 345, I mean, maybe we're to the point where it's just better to wait till the final round and bet him whatever he is at the top of it because he makes these great comebacks and you're going to get better odds at that point.
Yeah, well, that's what a lot of people are saying. Why not see if he stubs his toe in round 1 like he's been doing? See if maybe one of the big dogs like Rory, Fleetwood, Xander, even Fitzpatrick, Colin has a big round, and then maybe you come back in and you grab him at 6 or 7-1.
Yeah. It's not a terrible take.
So I mean, I think
Looking at
that
the live odds right now. Oh, if I can, yeah,
that's why for me the rest of this year, if you're not taking a huge bath going winner without, then I am probably just gonna bet winner without and play for second place. And if they win, well, then I'll give away the few points.
yeah.
Uh,
I don't blame you. I don't blame you there. I don't hate Goddard up and down at plus 4,100. I don't hate Bobby Mack at plus 3,200.
Bobby Mack's a good play too. I don't hate him either.
Yeah, Cam Young.
Cam Young's he's gonna get a win this year. So could it be this week? I don't know. We burnt him unfortunately in the one and done. So I think Fitzpatrick is our play in the one and done. We got 2 entries sitting right outside the money, so hopefully we can get back in the money after this week. 2 weeks ago, we were making a nice profit. We slid back a little bit. Good news is in this, we haven't, knock on wood, Jimmy, anywhere on your bar, we haven't missed a cut yet this whole time. Every player we picked has made the cut, which is nice. So we haven't put up any goose eggs. So that's the golf for this week, but that's enough golf talk. What do we got on tap for the UFC?
Yeah, we'll do a better breakdown later this week of the entire thing, but we got a really good card. Just going back to last weekend, some good fights there. Brandon Moreno lost. I got to think he's not going to get these main events anymore. He was the flyweight champion for a while. You know, he had 6 title fights, but he's up and down. He lost the belt to Devis Figueroa. He came back once he vacated, beat Kai Kari French, then beat Devison. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Lost to Pantoja, who went on, but he lost his next fight against Royval, who just lost to our guy, Joshua Van, before Joshua Van took the title from Pantoja. But he's lost his last 2 fights. This was a main event again. Moreno he's a great fighter. He's not that old. He's only 32. He's been fighting it feels like he's been there forever, so you think he's older. But he lost that fight. Chito Vera, I thought might get lucky and knock out David Martinez. He did not. He lost the decision. 28-29 is his decision, so it wasn't a shutout. Your boy King Green actually won. Okay. That was the one fight I thought for sure was going to go the other direction. I went 1-1 on my plays this weekend that I sent to you. But the King Green fight's the one that I was dumbfounded by. I can't believe this guy got home. The good news is it means he's going to continue to get fights in the UFC because he pulled off a W. So yeah, some interesting things. Next week, it's good. It's Holloway versus Oliveira 2. Very excited about this fight. Again, we'll give an actual breakdown on it on our next show and our picks there. Yeah, but so go ahead.
You're talking this Saturday, right?
This coming Saturday. Yeah, I kind of broke down last Saturday. This is this coming Saturday. Spoiler alert: Max Holloway won their first fight. I don't see any reason he won't win this. He peaked in the middle of his career. Most guys, you kind of know who they are. He was up and down, and then all of a sudden he got really hot. So, but I'll give a full breakdown of that. We got Kai Barharlo from our Fighting Nerds crew fighting RDR near to Ritter. Kai lost to Imavov, who is the number 1 contender in that weight class. And RDR was on this rocket ship to the top. He was beating everybody, and then we bet Robert Whitaker against him. Robert Whitaker, by the way, moving weight classes, different story, different day. Then he lost to Brandon Allen. Brandon Allen's a real tough guy, but that was sort of surprising. So this is going to be a really, really good fight. Probably going to go with the Fighting Nerd on this one. Watch Kyle get back on the winning streak. Drew Dober's fighting Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson was the guy that I told you early in the card, a few cards back. I was on, 39 years old, still fighting well. That's the one that got pulled for the betting. Clearly it wasn't him on his side because he's back. He's fighting Drew Dober, and I can't believe Drew Dober is 37 years old. That should be a hell of a fight. And then Cody Garbrandt, who was originally on the main card and has now slipped to the main prelim. And again, I don't really know what that means anymore because there's no free fights on ESPN and then a pay-per-view. Cody Garbrandt's like the cat with 9 lives, just keeps getting fights, even though he's peaked way early in his career, and he's just been getting his ass kicked most of the time ever since. He looked like he was going to be the next big thing when he beat Dominic Cruz. TJ Dillashaw beat him convincingly a couple of times. He won a fight, lost a couple, won a couple, lost a couple, just bouncing back and forth, never really regained that momentum. So we'll have plenty of those. We'll break down those fights in more detail later in the week. We'll give you our picks, but really solid weekend. Looking forward to it. Anytime Max Holloway is fighting, you got to watch. He's 34 years old. Same thing. Seems like Max has been around for forever, but he never lets you down. Max doesn't even spar before the fights anymore. He trains, but he doesn't even spar, and he comes in and just whips people's ass. This is going to be an awesome fight. Like I said, I'll most likely be picking him, but the line's not going to be great, most likely, so we'll have to figure out a way to do it.
All right, we'll get those to you Thursday. We'll be back with another episode Thursday, back to our regular cadence for the foreseeable future now that we are back from Vegas. But before we get to those shenanigans, Jimmy, there was a UFC question, and unfortunately, I think I can answer this. I get what this person was asking. I'm going to try to ask it a little better. Is there, because there is no UFC event every year, like a WrestleMania type thing, but is there a time of year where they have their best card like we saw when they kicked this off this year? Like, is there something like that to look forward to again?
I mean, this year is the White House if it happens, right?
Okay.
Like that's going to be huge. They want to do, I think it's 5 or 6 bouts at the White House for the America's 250th anniversary. So that'll be huge because whatever fights they put on are going to be big time. Could John Jones be on that? Could somebody like who really knows? That'll be really, really big. Anytime they have a fight at the Garden, because for a long time you couldn't fight. There was no MMA in New York, in the state of New York. So they used to all be in Newark. But since they became legal in New York, anytime there's a Garden fight, it's generally pretty big. And then the major numbers, which we're not going to get to this year, right? We're not going to hit a major number event. So I would tell you the White House so it changes year to year, but the White House is the one that you're going to look forward to this year. Let's see what happens if that actually goes down, which it seems like it's got ahead of steam. Dana and Trump are tight. They've talked about it. There's a lot of great fighters that want to be on that card, right? Why wouldn't you want to be? So the White House this summer could be huge.
All right. How did Vegas treat you?
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You were there. We had a blast.
We did.
We had a great time. We actually did okay gambling. No, I don't. And just in full transparency, I don't think the last 4 or 5 times I never take a beating because I don't play enough to dig myself in a big hole. But I always lose. Won this year. I don't know how much it was up, but I was up enough that the trip was really, really inexpensive. We had some great dinners.
We did.
We had some great breakfast, some great brunch. We did a lot of boozing, a lot of walking. What more can you ask for? It's a great trip.
Yeah, so a lot of people say, how do you do it? And I basically said this. I said, look, here's what I know. I brought a certain amount of spending money that I was going to use to gamble with. I came home with some of that money still in my pocket. So to me, it's a win. Because to Jimmy's point, we throw cash down for drinks, for food, for this, for that. So you just never know what your actual total is because you're paying for cash for stuff as you go, I should say. Yeah. So I thought it was a great trip. Looks like Ryan has joined the show. Finally worked out his mic issue. So, but yeah, I thought it was a good 3 days. And RPM, anyone's out there, recommendation from me for sure.
Very good. Artichokes were fantastic. Everything was good. But yeah, same thing. Like I had a certain amount of money that I was going to spend, and I was going to spend other money on my card on meals. I was able to use gambling money to pay for basically all of our meals to the tune of half of the money I had. I still brought half home. So it was a win. Hey, Ryan didn't figure it out, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I see that. I tried to kick him back out, but couldn't figure out how. No, I tried to put him back. I tried to move him backstage again, but it didn't work. I don't know what's going on. All right. Moving on.
Really ruining a good time, Ryan.
Yeah, and I can't figure out how to kick him out. I'm not gonna edit this out so you can all laugh at us. All right. Look, I wrote one thing down here for baseball. The World Baseball Classic's around the corner. Does anybody care?
I certainly don't. I've been listening to a lot of local radio since we got back from Vegas. A lot of it revolves around either the NFL draft or spring training. They keep talking about this, and I keep not giving any shits at all. So, no, I don't care.
I mean, here's my problem with the whole tournament. Do you honestly think that the pitchers are going to air it out? Of course they're not. It's going to be like spring training. No one's going past, 3, 4, 5 innings maybe in the championship. And none of these pitchers are going to actually make a start. So is it a real tournament? In my opinion, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. I literally care so little about this that I've done no research. I haven't looked into it at all. I know there's a lot of news and players talking coming out of it, not in a shit talk way, but more so just talking about the upcoming season. But that's really it. So, nope, no shit's given.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give you a tip. Whether you're at work, whether you're home doing something, maybe you're just surfing the net. If there's like a little drop-down menu, always hit it because you never know what you can find. I got Ryan removed. A little drop-down arrow, Jimmy, and it said remove.
Well done.
Perfect. Because I don't know what he's doing. It was a blank screen, and it kept telling me his microphone doesn't work.
Hey.
So hopefully there isn't like some background noise that we couldn't hear. Hopefully everything records well. All right, so we hate the World Baseball Classic. The U.S. are favored -110, but again, the pitching is such a unknown. I would probably lean to Japan +330, to be honest with you.
Yeah. See,
but I think we both kind of made the statement we're not betting it. We're not going anywhere near it.
No, I don't care. I mean, it kicks
There's
off.
so many better things going on right now. All right. Before we get to the NBA and hear how you're feeling about your Knicks and stuff like that in the NHL, I'm going to make one final statement on the Olympics. Very happy the U.S. women won gold. Very not happy that the U.S. men won gold. But both outcomes are completely, to me, silly. To decide a gold medal game in a 3-on-3 overtime is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Ever. It has to be 5-on-5. You want to decide... I would argue the whole medal round shouldn't be decided. Semifinals, finals. You want to decide pool play 3-on-3 like a regular season NHL game? Fine. You cannot decide a gold medal game with a 3-on-3 in overtime. You can't. It would be like deciding the Super Bowl 7-on-7 and give them flags and we'll play flag football. Like, what are we doing?
I agree with you. I'm happy with the outcome. I know we were on Canada, lost a buck or two. But it was an exciting finish. I was awake early enough in Vegas to see it happen. But yeah, I was shocked that it was 3-on-3. I didn't know, and I was absolutely shocked. What's happening? Why are they playing 3-on-3? This is for the gold medal.
Could you imagine if it probably wouldn't get to this because the U.S. is usually dominating most years. But could you imagine if the men's finals got to a overtime in the Summer Olympics and they said, "Hey, let's play 1-on-1 to 5 winners outs"? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. It is almost as bad as the All-Star game going to a home run derby swing off or whatever the hell we did last year.
Yeah, but even then, it's worse than that because the All-Star game is an
exhibition.
It's an exhibition. Yeah, like this is for a gold medal.
For gold medal.
Yeah,
gold medal.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I pointed this out to you too. Like the wild thing about team sports like this is like you see a figure skater most of the time or a whatever win silver. They are elated. They're pumped. They're excited. The skiers this year were pumped when they won silver. These team sports, when they win silver, what a shitty feeling. It's like they just got beat.
Yep.
And then bronze is even worse. They're like, hey, who played the other day, you pricks? Come on up.
Yeah,
Nobody. It's the wildest thing. Like, it's like most people are like, I medaled in the Olympics. Yes, I would have liked gold, but I won bronze or I won silver. This team just got beat. They're despondent on the sidelines. Like, picture you lose the NHL finals or the NBA finals, and they're like, look, you got to stick around and take second place award.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta sit here and take this runner-up trophy.
Yeah. Oh, it's brutal to watch.
Yeah, what's next in the Summer Olympics? If we get a dead heat in the 100-meter dash, we put them in those potato sacks and have them hop 10 yards for the gold. Is that their tiebreaker?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I just it's gonna take me a while to comprehend how we're 3-on-3 for a gold medal.
Doesn't make sense.
All right, NHL is back, thank God. Real hockey with a real overtime when we get to playoffs and anything matters, not 3-on-3 gimmicky fucking bullshit. All right, your Lightning have come back and lost 2 in a row on me, which I don't appreciate, Jimmy. And the Avs have come back and have won 1. But the team that's just on fire is the Stars, 8 in a row. Are you starting to follow? This is usually when I finally get you to come aboard.
Yeah, so I'm starting to follow the Lightning via my phone because I don't get very many of their games. And I'm shocked that they're only 30 points behind the Avs to win it all now. Like that, they were playing well early in the season. Again, falling on the phone. Don't get a lot of games. It's not my Central Florida days where I could see them all. But I'm surprised that they've come that far. But that makes me very excited for the playoffs. I know locally the Islanders are the only chance. Obviously, the Rangers basically gave up a month and a half ago, and they're dead in the water. And the Devils should be much better based on their talent, but they're not for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm excited. Lightning are live dogs.
Yeah, I'm sitting here hoping, beyond hope here. The Avs are down to 450 to win the President's Trophy. You remember we were sitting here saying they were minus 2,500. I took the Lightning at 15-1, and they got within 5 points, but now they're back. I think 9 or 7 back. So hopefully they just go on an absolute run, and I can steal one, but I don't think it's going to happen. Stars are 20-1 now as they are making an absolute climb, but still your big favorites here are to win the cup are the Avs and the Lightning. Now, I don't think the Lightning plus 380 is a great bet. I still think the Avs plus 350 is something you can take a look at. The one I really think though could have something to say about this from a value standpoint is the Wild 18-1. So keep an eye on them.
Yeah, I think it's exciting that like Buffalo and Detroit are. I mean, Buffalo hasn't been good in. When was the last time Buffalo was good? I don't remember.
I think it's been a long time since they've made the playoffs.
Yeah, and in my formative years, like late high school, early post high school, the Red Wings were the Yankees of hockey.
100%.
So it's cool to see that both those teams back in the mix. Like that I think that's pretty exciting. Good for the city of Buffalo. Good for the Red Wings. So there, there's some stuff that's exciting there. Vegas continues to be a formidable team, which is cool for Vegas because they were the first team in Vegas, and the Raiders came along and said, "Hey, football's king," and they're like, "Yeah, but you fucking suck," and we're good. Right. So Vegas has really wrapped their arms around the Golden Knights, and that's awesome. So yeah, it's gonna be a really exciting playoffs. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, talk to me about your Knicks.
I mean, there's really no way you can feel good about them. They get their ass kicked by everyone they shouldn't.
Just got a good win against the Spurs.
They did. The Spurs, it was a good win. And I got to tell you, I was watching that game, and I'm thinking to myself, and they're obviously in the Western Conference, but when Wembanyama cleans up a few of his stupid mistakes and starts, like, he's going to be, like, he's already taken leaps and bounds from where he was 2 years ago. But, I mean, a couple of his three-point fakes and drive to the basket and dunk, like, he's going to be so borderline unstoppable if he can stay healthy and he continues to learn from what he's done. It was a really good win. Team showed up. Mikal Bridges finally had a good game. Like, he's been one of the worst trades for 4 first-round picks in history. Cat still, I mean, he had a overall decent game, but he really isn't, to me, stepping up where he should be. I think that Deuce McBride coming back for the playoffs is going to be big. They traded for Alvarado. He's a nice player. He looked like he got hurt at some point in that game, but he's okay. They need Deuce McBride. They need somebody else to spell Brunson. Cat needs to step up and be a dominant player like that. But so we'll see what happens. But Alvarado is a good pickup, I think. I mean, Jordan Clarkson's basically been relegated to the bench after being allegedly a big offseason pickup. Do I feel good about him? I don't. I liked him better under Thibodeau. If you had Thibodeau as the head coach and Mike Brown as the offensive coordinator, this team would be like scary, I think. But they can't beat the Celtics. They can't seem to beat the Pistons, right?
Pistons seem to have their number.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, I know they beat the Seas, but earlier a couple of weeks back. But Pistons have their number. I don't know. I worry a little bit about the Knicks. I don't feel great about it. I also don't feel great about my Western Conference team, the Nuggets. They don't beat anybody they should beat. If they don't get Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson back, they are going to be cooked, and they're going to be cooked early.
I do not feel good about them.
I don't either.
Playing good teams. From a betting standpoint, Thunder plus 140 to win it all. I still don't love it.
I'm out on, yeah, I think that, look, they obviously could win it. They're a very good team, but they've showed chinks in their armor. The Spurs have basically owned them. I don't understand Denver 550 after the skid. I don't think the Spurs are there yet. Boston, they could do it, but at 900, I don't love it. I think the value here, and nobody's talking about it, is with the Timberwolves at 30 to 1. Like, I don't know why we're not talking more about him. Anthony Edwards, that maybe this is year he stands out. Julius Randle's playing well within the system. They've not, Naz Reid is fantastic. They've got enough pieces there that I think your value play here is Minnesota at 30 to 1. I think that's the best play.
Oh yeah, that's a great value play for sure. Yeah. I'll tell you what. We were saying it as a flyer when we gave this previous show, and I don't remember what it was, 25 to 1, 30 to 1 to win the conference, and now the Celtics are down to the favorite to win the Eastern Conference.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and Tatum might be coming back. They've really stepped up. Jaylen Brown's really stepped up. Yeah, what are you gonna do? They're a well-coached team. They're a great organization. You can't take it away from them. So
you can't. Brown has come out of nowhere. He's, I shouldn't say he's come out of nowhere. He stepped up where people didn't think he could carry a team. He's showing he can carry a team. This could be a story. I wish I put more on him than just a little bit of pizza money in October for a fun story. If Tatum came back, I wish I put a real bet on him.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And in his defense, I mean, Jason Tatum's never carried a team either. He's always had Brown there.
It's true.
So neither of them really have had the opportunity to do it. Brown's proving he can do it. Now,
yeah.
do I think they're a championship team as built without Tatum? I don't. I think they're a very, very, very good team that would be in the mix at the end. I think with Tatum if Tatum comes back, I don't know how you could argue that they're not.
This is all I say here is that, and I say this about the Celtics, the Knicks, the Cavs, and the Pistons. Any one of them is going to have better than a puncher's chance against the Thunder, the Nuggets, or the Spurs, because we saw last year the Pacers push the Thunder, who look like one of the most dominant teams we've seen in 20 years, to the brink. They push them to a game 7. So any one of these other teams is going to come out with a big shot to win this. I would tell you, I would go down the board a little bit. And I would put and I have a couple of these I've talked about on the show, a finals exacta in, and I think, or you could even go name the finalists probably on some of these sites, but I still think, God, I look at the board and I'm like, whew, look, give me the Spurs down the board a little bit. Spurs to beat the Knicks 40 to 1. Spurs to beat the Pistons 40 to 1. Where are the C's? I don't even see them on here against the Celtics over the Thunder 22 to 1. I don't love that. Spurs to beat the Celtics 5-1. And you want to reverse it? Celtics to beat the Spurs 60 to 1.
Yeah.
You can get some good value if you play it that way. And if you like the Thunder and you really think they're going to be there, that's the way I would go. I would play the Thunder to beat, say, the Cavs or the Knicks. You get 10 to 1, 8 to 1, and then reverse it and go for the long shot. Celtics to beat, let's see, when you get down to beating OKC, 20 in the 20 to 1 area for a lot of these. So that's the way I would play this. But we'll see what happens. It's going to be a very interesting race to the finish here, and these odds are so volatile. They'll bounce all over the place, these NBA exactas.
Yeah, this should be an interesting playoffs, because I think this is the one year we're going in where we don't know who's going to end up from either cup. Because you wouldn't be surprised, I wouldn't be surprised if Boston, Cleveland, Detroit, or the Knicks ended up in the finals. Hell, I wouldn't be shocked if Philadelphia somehow finally figured it out. There's 5 teams that have a legit shot to me to get there. And in the other conference, OKC, Denver, San Antonio, Houston, Minnesota. I don't think the Lakers have a chance.
Me either.
Sorry for a Laker fan, but I think there's 5 teams from each conference this year that have a legitimate chance of getting.
I literally can't wait to fade the Lakers in the playoffs this year. I can't wait.
Yeah, they're not going to do it. Luka's starting to look like he's out of shape. LeBron is, 58 years old. There's a lot happening.
They don't look good. It's funny. They we saw them in Vegas and they looked terrible. And then a couple games in a row, these last 2 games, they've looked okay. A couple blowout wins. So, but against a good team, do you trust them? I sure as hell don't.
No, and I don't. It's funny because I definitely don't trust them in a 7-game series. I trust them in a spot, but they're not going to win 4.
I agree 100%. All right. Well, we're going to go back in time here a little bit because we haven't had a show in a couple weeks. We were in Vegas for it. It was one of our bigger plays that we lost. Were you impressed with Duke? Disappointed in Michigan? Combination of both?
I was more disappointed in Michigan. So, look, I think give Duke the credit. They're obviously a good team. I'm not going to try to downplay that. However, I think that Michigan looked good at the start of the game, but it was really all Lenenberg. He's the only person that really stepped up. We talked about their depth. Morez Johnson Jr. had a decent game. Mara just didn't shoot enough, right? He wasn't involved enough. Elliot Cadeau had a really bad game. He was 1 for 6 from 3. And he wasn't a good 3-point shooter at North Carolina. He's gotten better. He's worked on his game, but that's not his game. If he's shooting that much, it's not a great look. And their bench did little to nothing. So Lenenberg stepped up. He had a really nice game. Started really nice. He had a tough end of the game. And they still only lost by 5 points to Duke, right? On a neutral court. It obviously wasn't in Durham. But no, I think that I wish Michigan would have won the game, but it doesn't break my confidence that if they meet again, that they can't beat them. I guess that's the best way to say it. They lost LJ Case on last game, blew out his knee. I watched that whole game. That's going to be a hit for Michigan, but they've got enough depth that I think they're going to be just fine. They're still going to have an 8-man rotation with no problem. And Ken Pom doesn't far off disagree with me. The number 1 and 2 are Duke and Michigan, and it's dead. It's very, very close.
Yeah. So here's where we're going to start. And, we touch on this throughout February a little bit into January, but this is really where every show, obviously, because we only have 2 weeks left, we're going to really get into what Lenardi's saying and the bracketology. I don't agree at all with Duke being the number 1 seed, the top seed over Michigan. No, I don't. Even with Ken Pom having him slightly ahead, if you just look at the eye test, I mean, Michigan's the better team.
Yeah. And look, I understand that if I'm a Duke fan, I would disagree with us because I would say, well, they beat them straight up. And okay, you're right. Fair, right? But I tend to agree with that. I mean, Michigan's played a much tougher schedule. I think they're the better team. I think Cam Booz was the best player. I said that before. I think he's the best player on the floor. I don't think anybody finds that a shocking statement because he is. But Michigan is the better team. How much is this case on injury going to affect it? But they came back. They beat Minnesota by 10. They didn't crush them. Minnesota played a really good zone defense against them. That, I don't know if you got to watch it because you were at work, but when Michigan beat Illinois, it was in Illinois. That place was absolutely insane. Like, it was going into hostile territory, and all Michigan did was come out and beat the pants off. And it looked at the beginning of the game like, man, this could be a game where Michigan looks bad. Nope. They stepped up. There was Morez Johnson Jr. transfer from Illinois. There was posters of him everywhere. They were all over him, and they stepped up and they looked awesome. And that was against the number 1 offensive team in the nation. Michigan held the number 1 offensive team in the country to 70 points. And it wasn't that close. They scored a few buckets at the end, right? Yep. So right now they're giving Duke the number 1 defensive rating and Michigan the number 2. They're right there, but Duke's played again a much easier schedule. They're not playing the offensive juggernauts that Michigan's played and holding them to where they are. For what it is, I think Michigan's in really good position this year. I'm usually not bullish on my teams, but they look really, really good. I said they'd lose 4. Now, at best, they'll lose 3, but they might end up only losing 2. They go to Iowa. Iowa's a good team. That's not going to be an easy game. And then they end at home against Michigan State. They are better than Michigan State. To your point, it's at home. They should win that. So I expect them to have 2 losses, maybe 3 at the end of the year.
Yeah. Okay. I can get over Duke being the overall number 1, Michigan being 2, Arizona being 3. What I cannot get past is he has UConn on the 1 line. He's out of his mind?
Out of his mind. UConn just barely skeeked by Seton Hall. Seton Hall is Final 4 in, maybe, and I hope they make it. but they just eked by Seton Hall. Sure, they came and blew the doors off St. John's to prove a point. I get it. They also got beat, right, by Nova. And then they squeaked by Seton Hall. UConn is not, like, they're number 4 seed because they're UConn, and that is the end of the story.
Florida's better, Houston's better, Illinois is better, Iowa State's better, Purdue's better, Michigan State's better. I could make an argument for Texas Tech against them. Sorry, Nebraska, you're going to have to show me more. A surging Alabama second half of the year, I could make a case for. Got a 25-4 Virginia team I might be able to make a case for over UConn. None of these are number 1 seeds, by the way. Let me just be perfectly clear with that.
Yeah, right.
I'm just making a case that there are teams way, way down this list that I can make a case for that are better.
I agree. I 100% agree. UConn, like I said, they blew up St. John's, but they lost to St. John's. They eked by Villanova, who we thought they were going to lose to, and they literally eked by Seton Hall. They lost to Creighton, right? Like, these aren't stellar basketball teams. I don't believe in St. John. I'd love if the Johnnies were good. They're not as good as they were last year. I don't know. I don't understand why UConn has that. And Texas Tech, who I was down on earlier this season, I made the point that they are front runners. They beat bad teams. They lose to every good team. They've come on real strong. I had them Saturday in the Iowa State game, and that was one of the easiest wins I've had in a while. Texas Tech's legit. So I'm with you, man. I think Florida, they're not going to get it because they have 6 losses. But they played basically the hardest schedule in college basketball this year. They played everybody. And a lot of those losses were early in the season. They've been playing dominating ball. Watch out for Florida in the tournament. I wouldn't want to play Florida. I wouldn't want to be in their bracket. If Florida's hopefully, God, they had them as a 3 seed when I saw Lenardi earlier this year. I haven't looked at it recently. You tell me. But, God, I hope they're a 2 seed because I wouldn't want to see them before the Elite 8.
Who was that?
Florida.
Florida's a 2 on the 2 line right now.
Thank God.
Playing right under UConn, which tells you they're the strongest 2 when you look at the way they do this.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it should be.
You know, I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be a few issues on Selection Sunday that's going to really get people talking, and we'll be, as always, we're going to do our traditional 8 o'clock-ish show where we give you the bracket breakdown and how annoyed I am at the committee, because that's tradition for me. Auburn is not a tournament team. They are 15-13. They have them in. They have them in the last 4 in, but they have them as the first of those teams listed. I am going to go fucking bananas if Auburn gets in and they kick a Santa Clara out.
Yeah, I will be on your team on that one because that whole conference is terrible. If there's somebody show me a worse 28-3 team than Gonzaga in the history of basketball, like they're not that. They're a 3-loss team that's not that great, and but I digress. St. Mary's, Santa Clara should still, if they're there, the other 2 teams should be there as well, and an Auburn team that's 2 games above 500 based on their history should not be in the tournament.
Well, I'll say this. The only competitive games, for the most part, in that conference have been when the combination of those 3 teams have played. They've pretty much handled business besides that. So I don't think Gonzaga is as bad as you might think, but I do think St. Mary's and Santa Clara can win a game in this tournament. If not, and St. Mary's might be able to win a couple.
What does Lenardi have Gonzaga right now?
Let me find where Gonzaga. He has St. Mary's on the 8 line. They're in. They're comfortably in. They're always in. He's got Santa Clara on the 11. If I'm guessing, he probably has Gonzaga on the 3 or 4. He's got Gonzaga on the 3.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I don't think they make it out of the Sweet 16 this year.
I don't think they're going to make it out of the round of 32 because I think
you might be right.
If this was the Portland bracket and they were on a collision course with BYU or San Diego State as the 11 seed, I think San Diego State could win that 11-3.
San Diego State had a tough loss last night. Man, the San Diego State-New Mexico game, the last 45 seconds, I think, lasted 15 minutes. It wouldn't end.
I know, they didn't play well. Have you seen them when they played well, though?
No, I mean, they're always a good defensive team.
And then it makes me nervous because it's my team, but the team that has a bunch of losses, Kentucky with 10, they're putting 6 or 7 line, depending on who's you're looking at. Oh my
nice
God.
win yesterday.
And people think that they might be able to be that team that makes a little noise and upsets a 2 and gets to the Sweet 16, and they're that 7 or 6, 7 or 8 seed that does some damage. That makes me nervous, but God, I'd love to see it. It's been a while.
Or when did Kentucky beat Vanderbilt? Was it Friday? Not yesterday. Was it Friday? Saturday?
No, it was not Saturday. It was Saturday. Vandy played. No, yes, it was Saturday. Excuse me, it was Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah. Kentucky beat them pretty good.
Yep. So, I mean, that's kind of right now. We'll get more into this Thursday, a little bit more into the bracketology. It's kind of where we stand right now with Lenardi and where he thinks things are going. But I can't believe I'm saying it. It's here. We're starting conference tournaments starting right now. The Horizon League tipped off today. So I'll go through some of these that are starting this week. As I'm doing that, we did get a question. What is your favorite conference tournament, Jimmy?
Well, obviously the Big Ten. I mean, that's an easy one for me. But because we live here, I do like the Big East. Like it's a lot of fun to watch. Especially this year, it's going to be fun because you've got Nova is decent, obviously UConn, but you've got Nova's decent. St. John's is solid. Creighton isn't that good, but they beat UConn, so that's a feather in their cap. Seton Hall is on the cusp of making so the Big East is probably my second favorite tournament.
So I would say this. Years ago, before it fell apart, I thought the Big East was the best tournament every year, bar none. To me now, it's the SEC, but a couple smaller conferences that every year seem to produce some drama is the Mountain West. Always a good one. Championship game is usually 6:00 next Saturday, not this one. Arch Madness is always good. That starts this week. The Missouri Valley. I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that every year you can always depend on some funny business. I'm with Jimmy, the Big Ten. I'm trying to think of ones that are off the radar. You know what? They don't have the big schools like they've had in previous years, but the Atlantic 10 always produces some fun. But there's no real great teams out there anymore. So Horizon tipped off right now, so the odds are not up. And these tournament odds will post here and there as you just monitor DraftKings and monitor FanDuel. Wright State, 31% chance to win. Yeah, all right. Not enough for me with the odds that I saw earlier. Ask me to pick a winner here. I'm probably going to go down the board a little bit. Take a shot with Oakland here. If it pops back up, you get some good plus money there. So lock me in for Oakland to win the Horizon, Jimmy.
All right.
All right. Tomorrow, who doesn't love a good Sun Belt Conference tournament, Jimmy?
I mean, a lot of people, but
I would say you're wrong. I would say people are pumped up and ready. I've already bet this. I already got a ticket in pocket. I like Marshall. Troy's the favorite. I got Marshall at 4-1. They're down to plus 275 now. Troy plus 170. I think Marshall gets it done. So I'm going to take Marshall in the Sun Belt. Jimmy, how about you?
I'm gonna go one step further and say App State. Let's go App State.
Don't hate it. I was thinking about that. I think they're plus 5.
They are. Yep. Let's go. I've also saying hey, let's throw a bunch of mid-Atlantic gloomy cities into the Sun Belt Conference. Perfect.
Hey, it's sunny some days. This one is wide, and I mean wide open. Starts on the 4th, and that is none other than the Atlantic Sun.
The Herald Atlantic Sun.
Look,
same teams like Austin P.
Well,
Queens, North Carolina.
That's the thing. You know what they say? Austin P can't do it alone. And that's the thing. I don't know if I can take him as the favorite. I think I got to go down the board a little bit here. Could the Gulf Coast come out of nowhere?
Look, it could, but since Austin P is the only team I know from this entire play, well, Lipscomb, I know Lipscomb. So Austin P and Lipscomb are the only two teams I know. I mean, West Georgia, who knew that part of the map even existed was a thing? You know what I mean?
I agree.
I'm gonna go Austin P. They've won me money on unders before, so I'll take them.
Yeah, you look at team rankings projections, and they're pretty good on the percentages when they do these simulations of who's going to get to the championship game and who has a chance to win it. Austin P's got the best chance, 27%. Followed Lipscomb, 23%. Central Arkansas is actually the number 1 seed, 18, and then Queens, 17.5. So it's probably going to be one of them. But as we know, funny things happen in this conference all the time, and in this tournament. I am gonna. Oh, God, I want to do it.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
I think I'm gonna put a ticket in pocket on the Florida Golf Coast to come back like that one year. Remember the year they won a game in the tournament as a 15?
Yep, I do actually. Florida Gulf Coast, the old FGC.
FGCU, 16-1 is my long shot pick, but I'm with Jimmy. I'm probably gonna back that up with a little Austin P action as well at 2.5-1 or 2-1. Excuse me. All right, next we got to go to the Big South. And I know Jimmy's got a strong pick for us here.
Oh yeah, as I always do. I'm gonna also go 16-1 with UNC Asheville.
Yeah, look, it's not a bad pick, but this is one of those conferences that you're going to have an odds-on favorite, just like last year. Winthrop is historically good, but this Highport team has been good for a few years now, and I'm going to take them to cut down the nets here. I think minus 165 is a gift. I think they absolutely get to the championship game, no problem. I can't see a way they don't get to the championship game, and you're going to get minus 165. They're going to be much more than that no matter who they play. So give me them.
Fair.
I'm going to lay the 165 here. I normally don't like taking favorites, but let's go High Point. The mighty Northeast, as one would say. I know Jimmy's gonna come with some Central Connecticut action for me here. LIU is a big favorite. Central Connecticut is the 2 seed, and then just not much after that, in my opinion. I think Central Connecticut is gonna. They if you remember last year, they were a big favorite to win this tournament, and if memory serves me right, they lost in the championship game.
This might shock you, but I don't remember anything about this particular tournament. But I'm going LIU.
I think Central Connecticut returns the favor.
All
Give
right.
me Central Connecticut to win the NEC. Well, on 3-5, we get the MAC. Love the MAC. I can't bet most of the MAC because most of the schools are from New York. So Jimmy's probably going to have
I cannot bet the MAC. I got nothing here.
Nothing for Jimmy to bet the MAC. We go to our team rankings page and we'll see what the odds are on that. Oh, this is wide open. Siena as the slight favorite over Merrimack. Marist checks in next. Quinnipiac followed by St. Peter's as the 2 seed, and they're all the way down the board with the 5th best chance to win according to these odds. So out of those top 5, there's only one I've seen play a couple times this year, and that was Marist. I think Marist gets it done. Give me the Red Fox to win the match.
I mean, I would take St. Peter's because it's Jersey City. Couldn't bet it if, so it wouldn't matter anyway. But if you can bet it, take St. Peter's.
Take the Pete. I'm going to tell you to take the Red Fox. I can't bet it either. It's right down the road. Here we go. Arch Madness. Missouri Valley Conference kicking off on the 5th. This is one of the best early conference tournaments every year. Belmont, the favorite, the 1 seed. They're giving them a 31% chance to win. Let's see what the actual odds are. Belmont plus 155. They are not my pick. I'll tell you that right now. The next team on the board, who is actually the 6 seed, is my pick. And that is the second betting choice. Northern Iowa. I got them a little earlier when they were 5.5-1. They're down to plus 475. This is one of the hottest teams in college basketball right now. They have been on fire the second half of the year. If they're shooting the ball well, good luck. Give me Northern Iowa to make a little Arch Madness.
Listen, I think the biggest surprise here is who knew there were this many D1 college basketball teams in Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri, other than you. I'm going to take the over-under on Americans that knew that don't live in one of those 3 states at 2,000. But I'm going to take Murray State at 10-1.
Okay.
Because it's Murray State. So
the backup bet I would give you here is don't play with fire, and that's Illinois, Chicago.
I'm glad they,
That's my backup play.
Illinois, Chicago, all right. Southern Illinois, Indiana State, Evansville. That's a tough one. The Drake.
Hate the Drake.
Hate the Drake.
No,
I'm sticking with Murray State.
The Drake's run is over. The Drake was around for a while. We gotta sweat that team out every year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Ohio Valley starting on the 4th. Another tournament that we got a lot of options, a lot of ways to go here. Tennessee State gets the best projection to win, followed by Southeast Missouri, and then UT Martin and Morehead State. God, I never like going with the 1 seed. I don't know what it is. I just never trust them. It's in Evansville at the Ford Center. It's in Indiana. So give me UT Martin, the 4 seed, to pull the upset. UT Martin, lock it in, plus 370.
I'm just going to keep going directional here because Southeast Missouri State, it sounds like Bobby Boucher's team.
I don't hate him.
I'm in.
Yeah, I don't hate him either. It's one of those two for us, the who you got pick, so bet them both. Bet them both, have a little fun. Oh, God, how could we ever forget the Patriot League? It's too bad Ryan's not here. His alma mater plays in this league, and boy, do they suck. They have a less than 0.2% chance of winning this tournament, and that is the Bucknell Bison. Navy, the huge favorite here, 62% chance to win this. Colgate right behind them, then Lehigh and BU. And it's pretty much good luck. This is going to be one where I think the favorite's going to take it.
You got to go with the favorite here.
Yeah, I don't see a way around it. So I think Navy gets into the tournament, and one less game I can bet unless I go over the line. Oh no, wait, I can bet Navy. I can't bet Army. Never mind. Navy, go get them. All right, last one before our next show, where we'll get into more of these. Oh, you know what? I think the Gonzaga tournament, the West Coast might start before our next show. So we'll end with that one. Summit. God, who doesn't want to? I already bet the Summit. So let's see what Jimmy likes.
Yeah, nobody knows any of these teams. I promise you that. But I'm going to go.
That is not true. North Dakota State and South Dakota State, people both know because they've won games in the tournament.
And for all of you listeners out there, South Dakota also is in this. Don't confuse the two.
And North Dakota.
So there's South Dakota State and South Dakota, North Dakota State and North Dakota.
That's correct.
Yeah. So, hey, look, one is, I'm sure, more prestigious than the other. Which one? Nobody knows. It's one of the big mysteries in life.
North Dakota State is very good, and don't make a mistake that I know people have made in the past and see 35-1 real quick and bet it real quick and then realize you got the wrong school.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the favorite here, too. Let's go St. Thomas.
All right. So I lean North Dakota State here. I do like them, but God, I hate the odds. So we got, I don't know, Jimmy's not going to remember. We got an upset in this tournament last year with Denver, and we picked them right on this show for you. I'm going to try to repeat history. Give me South Dakota State 12-1.
All right. There you go.
All right.
The big Mount Rushmore.
Now we're going to end with the West Coast Conference. Jimmy, I know you have the odds up on DraftKings right in front of you. It starts on the 5th. I don't know why I didn't have this written down. Probably because the two top seeds, this tournament's, figure out a better way to do your tournament. Gonzaga and St. Mary's get an automatic bye to the semis. This is the dopiest things. So it's in Las Vegas. Who do you like here? Obviously, if you look at the odds, they're not giving that many teams a chance. It's really the top 3 and then the rest. I don't think San Francisco's got a shot in hell. They start the bidding after the top 3 at 120-1, by the way. I think the odds makers are out of their minds. Hanging a minus 210 on Gonzaga.
Yeah. Look, just because I hate Gonzaga, I'm gonna take St. Mary's because I agree. I want the plus 230. Now, if you look at KenPom rankings, okay, they're not far off.
They're not.
And
St. Mary's just beat them Saturday night.
And yeah, and Gonzaga's strength of schedule is 86 for St. Mary's 95. Both, to be clear, not great. But you know why Gonzaga's is so much better? Because they got their ass kicked by Michigan, and that's why it's somewhat better. St. Mary's plus money is a way better bet. I'm not laying 210 on Gonzaga. Give me the plus 230. Yeah, and I'd love to tell you that Santa Clara could do it at 650. They might be able to, but to your point, they don't have the bye. So I'm going to roll with St. Mary's.
Yeah, so it's a tough one because if it goes chalk, like it will, it's going to be Santa Clara versus St. Mary's. Gonzaga is not going to lose to whoever gets there to play them in the semis. There's that theory that you get a team that's played a couple games, or in this case they'll play a game. Oh no, they'll have to play 2 games. That maybe they're the warmed up team, and they'll play 1 game. The way this brackets with the 12 teams, trying to follow it sometimes always. It's a little wonky. So Santa Clara won't play to the quarters. So they'll get 1 game in before they would have to play St. Mary's. And the 4 seed is actually Oregon State, not San Francisco. So Oregon State, San Francisco, one of those 2 is going to play Gonzaga. There's no chance Gonzaga's going to lose to them. You get such better odds on Santa Clara. But St. Mary's, to Jimmy's point, is a better team. I think St. Mary's can win a couple games this tournament. I really like St. Clara. So there's 2 ways you can do this, Jimmy. You can bet them both and just hope Gonzaga doesn't win this tournament, because I'm not laying minus 210. So maybe what I'm doing here is putting 100 on St. Mary's and putting 50 on Santa Clara and rooting against the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Yeah, Santa Clara's got the best offense of the 3 teams, statistically anyway. They just can't play defense. So can they up their level of effort once you hit the tourney? Maybe. I don't hate this Santa Clara bet.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's gonna be one of those 2 for me. Obviously, this one you can wait and see what happens in the first couple games. It's not gonna affect the odds, anyways. So we can make another pick on the Thursday show. Go back over this tournament. All right, Jimmy, tell them where they can find us.
Appreciate everybody listening. We are back after our weird few weeks. You can find us Who You Got 33 on X. Email all your questions to us at whoyougot33@gmail. We love to get them. If you know one of us personally, text us a question. We'll read it as well. But it's great to get those emails. We're looking for content, anything you want to talk about, things we missed, anything at all. But look us up. We appreciate you listening. Back to you, Greg.
We're back Thursday. We'll break down more college basketball. It's the best time of the year. Conference tournament starting this week, going through next week. We'll have Selection Sunday. We'll have an unbelievable March Madness like we always do. Jimmy, it'll roll us right into the Masters. Then we'll go right to the NHL NBA playoff debate. And then before you know it, we're going to be sitting here sweating, looking for things to talk about, and it's going to be all about breaking down football teams and your shitty Browns. So that's what we got to look forward to. We're glad to be back. We'll be back Thursday, and Jimmy will continue his